And welcome to the HS Game Time Live Blitz. I'm Fernandez, and we all know this guy, right? The legendary head coach at Santiago, John Perez. Give me your best Santiago impersonation right there.
Santiago.
Coach, you're great, and you also came bearing gifts. Can I put this on right now?
Yes, sir.
My Santiago Sharks ball cap. You said this is an original?
That's our original Shark original hat from 1996 when we opened up Santiago.
And one of the few remaining, right? I guess this is a collector's item?
That's the only one I know of in existence.
All right, Coach, let's talk about this season so far. Scoring a lot of runs, I guess feeling good. You had a big win against Bishop Amat yesterday. Just talk about the season thus far for you guys.
Well, we're 14-2 overall right now, and we're right where we want to be. We're getting ready for league play in another week. Tough Big 8. And every team in that league is going to be they're going to be tough games. Every team in there is going to be tough. So we can't take anybody lightly. And King and Norco, I know, are very good, and so is Corona and Centennial and Roosevelt. So we're going to have our hands full. So we're getting ready. We're getting ready.
I've asked this before for you. It's, what does this say about the Big 8? I mean, every single team is good. It's a battle. You can almost pencil it in, and a Big 8 league team's going to be playing for a CIF Southern Section Division I championship, if not both teams. I mean, what does it say just about the level of softball talent, not only in this area, but specifically in the Big 8 league?
Well, it's just from top to bottom, man. It's tough. I mean, they're great players in the league and good coaching, and and it's a tribute to our league that one of us always gets to the finals, and we've been fortunate to be there the last 3 years in a row. And hopefully 2 of these kids will go back for 4 years in a row. So that's our goal. That's our ultimate goal. Always is.
All right, I'm going to punch up some video. We got it from last year's championship game when you guys defeated Norco. Obviously, a lot of people know about that, big rivalry, Santiago and Norco, two of the best teams in the entire nation, and they're, just miles apart on the 15. Have you seen that? I don't think you've played them yet, right?
No, we haven't played them yet. No, not yet. We're getting ready, though. We're getting ready.
But you open with Roosevelt, right?
Roosevelt at home on Wednesday. And we have a doubleheader Monday at 2 and 4 against Redlands.
Well, that'd be a good tune-up, right? Redlands is having a good season.
Yep, they're very good. So we'll be, getting ourselves ready. So it'll be fun.
What do you remember as we look at some of the video? I think that was Nicole Fry, right, that hit that home run against Norco? Was that? Or no, Ferrati, wasn't it? Ferrati. What do you remember about that championship game last year at Barber Park?
The scoreboard, 8-2 us. That's what I remember the most.
There it is. There's the score there for you. What do you like about this year's team? What are you guys doing well at this point?
What's been the surprising element has been the committee. We have a pretty good hitting team. We're pretty good. I won't want to face them, but the committee, who is our pitchers, they've come through in the clutch for us, and they've worked really hard to do that for us. We lost a great pitcher last year in Erica, and everybody thought we were washed up. So, you know what? Those young kids have done a great job for us, and we're proud of them.
Once again, we are live at Adrenaline Athletic Training in Corona. We're waiting for Kyle Glaser to join us. That traffic on the 91's a mess. It's a monster out there, but he'll be here shortly. We're catching up, though, and visiting with the head coach of the Santiago softball team, John Perez. And Coach, you said players stepping up. Erica left, and the younger players having that opportunity to fill in and take on a starting role. Do some name dropping. Who are some of the players that have come up big for you this season? We know some of the names already.
Right. Well, I mean, when we start, we got a young lady back here, Amanda Lynn. She's got 32 RBIs already. She's really stepped it up, playing a new position, third base. Nicole's our shortstop, premier shortstop in the county. She stepped it up. Of course, we got one of the best pure hitters in the county, and Rachel Minogue. And we got that leadership with Randall and Caitlin, who are both phenomenal players. And all that experience rubs off on the younger kids. And it's just a blessing to have those kinds of athletes in your program.
When the expectations are always set so high for your club, I mean, do you go into each season and they already know what the goals are? League and CIF and all that.
Yeah, you know what? I think they understand that when they come play for us, there's a tradition. They all know that, and we have all of our banners up, and they do a walkthrough on those banners and look at all the previous kids that played there, and it gets emotional, I'm sure, for some of them. But But they come out and they have fun, and their ultimate goal is to walk away with those rings. That's what they all want. That's why I think a lot of them come play for us, to get a ring.
Where's your rings at, Coach? I don't see any rings on here. Where's all your championships?
I've got 8 rings, so that's too many to wear. So got to be humble about everything. So.
But for the girls, and I'll ask them this, I mean, it must mean something when you have Santiago on your jersey or on my hat. In this case, I mean,
yeah, you know what, my kids, when we have days, like when we have a game day, they wear their game day jerseys to school. That's how proud they are. When it's a practice day, because we have block scheduling, they wear their practice gear to the classes, 1 through 6 or whatever they have that day. So they're very, very proud of that T-shirt and everything they do, because they work hard, you know, and they're great kids. They're very humble, and they're all great kids, and they represent our school very well.
All right, Coach, I'm going to hand you this microphone, and I'm going to go switch the camera around to get the girls on camera. But why don't you introduce each of the 5 here and tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, the first young lady I want to introduce to my left, she's a junior. She's an all-CIF first-teamer. She's an unbelievable hitter, one of the best pure hitters that we've ever had in our program, and she's playing first base for us, very unselfish, and her name is Rachel Minogue. The second young lady I want to introduce is a senior, great leadership. She's going to University of Houston, Caitlin Crumpton. The next young lady I want to introduce is our shortstop. She's committed to Long Beach State, and she will be going, she's only a junior, and that's Nicole Fry. The next young lady I want to introduce is our third baseman, having a phenomenal year, Amanda Lynch. And then our catcher, Randall Lehigh. She's going to University of Texas, and she's a senior. And I'm sure a lot of people are glad she'll be leaving us this year, as well as Caitlin. They're the only 2 seniors that start for us, and you know, they all do a great job for us. And they're all great team players.
Excellent introduction from the head coach, John Perez. And girls, how do you like the hat? It's a collector's item. I'm sure everyone at Norco's, you know, rolling in their graves right now wearing a Santiago hat. But let me ask you, Coach doesn't wear the rings. Who has the rings, and where do you keep them?
I don't bring them out all the time, but when I do, I wear them when I get ready on school days. But I don't know, I'd like to wear them when just to rep my teammates and to let people know that it's Santiago. So.
Kind of inspiration when you see him. It's like, oh yeah, I played for Santiago and we're champs. That feels good, right?
Yeah, definitely. Really does.
All right, let's just go down the line. Well, let me ask you, you know, so far up in this point of the season, you know, what kind of stands out for you? You know, what's kind of been, you know, the bright spot on the team, you know, individually, maybe collectively as a team, but what kind of, you know, things stand out for you? Let's go right down the line.
I think it's our chemistry. Our team is so strong. We work together great, and our bat's been really effective lately.
All right.
Our chemistry is really good. Like, our team has become so close throughout the season, and we have a long way to go. But I think we're working really hard, and our bats come in clutch, and our fielding has been mostly airless. So yeah.
Mostly.
Mostly, yeah.
Any more diving plays? Oh, you got the ring on.
I do, actually.
Oh, you got 2 of them. There you go.
I think along with what they said, I mean, the chemistry on the team is we probably couldn't be more of a team than we are right now, and our hitting's, knock on wood, off the charts. But yeah, that's it. But
I see 27 runs in a game. Is that right? That wasn't an error.
28.
28. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Whoa. All right, so 28. All right, and Rachel, say the
Exactly, the chemistry. I mean, once someone's down, we all have each other's back. Our hitting's great, our pitching's great, everything's just great right now.
Oh yeah, pitching. You guys do more than just hit. You can also pitch as well, right? All right, Randall, you were obviously a key player last year when you guys won the championship. Do you see any similarities from last year's championship team to this year's team?
Definitely. I think last year's team worked really well together, and I think this year's team works very well together. But the difference between last year's team and this year's team is I think that we are very humble this year, and we're very unselfish when it comes to on the field, definitely. And I think that last year we had a lot of older players on the team, but this year definitely we've had a lot of younger players that have come in clutch this year, and that's been really awesome for us.
All right, let's just go down the line. younger players stepping up. I know, there's a couple seniors, but a lot of underclassmen getting, significant playing time.
Yes, our freshmen and sophomores and juniors have been hitting the crap out of the ball and have been playing wonderfully. I don't know, yeah. Just
I think from last year to this year, last year I was a little nervous since it was like my first time on varsity. And like I didn't really know how everything worked out. And
You looked real nervous hitting those home runs and knocking all those runs. Real nervous.
well, I wasn't nervous. I mean, but yeah. I just try to like help contribute to the team, and like I always ask myself what I can do for the team and not what they can do for me. So yeah, and I think we like pick up the freshmen and the sophomores this year to like show them like it's okay, like you're gonna be fine at the end of the day, like as long as you have the win. And yeah, that's it.
You guys are 14-2. Does that sound right? 14-2. So for the younger players, I mean, is just part of the journey, like enjoying every game and every win, and just building up towards that CIF playoff run?
We've been really trying to like teach the girls what it means to like win and be humble about it. So I think we've been doing a pretty good job about like teaching them what it takes to win and like how good it feels to win rather than lose. I mean, nobody wants to lose, but
yeah, because the younger girls, I mean, they know that what their job is, that what they need to do to contribute, and I think they've been doing a pretty good job with that. They've been helping out a lot. They've stepped up a lot.
Hey, Coach, can I have you grab the microphone again real quick? And I'm going to ask you more about these girls. So, Nicole was saying, she was joking around, just getting that experience as an underclassman and knowing you can play at the varsity level and for a premier team like Santiago. I mean, what does it mean to, have the caliber of players to, like you said, Erica Romero leaves and you just fill in the gaps with like clutch players and the Santiago, program continues?
For myself and our coaching staff, it's been a big challenge with that pitching staff because, I mean, they're not like people out in the travel ball world, and they're not all these like top level, but they've really stepped it up and done what we've asked them. They've had some great off-season training, and their work habits have been very good, and they got a great team behind them. I mean, they got 8 good defensive players, and they know they're not to strike everybody out. They're going to depend on the rest of their teammates to get them through the moment, and they bought into that, and I attribute their leadership to help those young kids get through it as well. They're like extra coaches out there on the diamond. So that's to them. That's their tribute to them. These kids right here, because they understand the program. They understand my expectations, and I'm getting up there in age now, and I don't get around as well as I used to. But we're still getting it done. So that's the most important part.
All right, not to put you girls on the spot, but who's got the best Coach Perez story? He's all business on the field.
You guys better be careful right now.
No, but you know what? Is there matching sandals on this team as well? I just looked. I know you might not be able to see it on the camera, but matching sandals. Let me ask you: when a team's playing well on the field, obviously there's chemistry off the field. Do you girls all hang out? Do you all get along? Is it people always say, "Oh, we're a big family," but is it really like a family at Santiago?
Yeah. We have like team bonding nights where we all pick one person's house and go over there and hang out. We don't always do something but watch a movie or like go somewhere and have fun. But I think it's really important for us to spend time off the field together, especially because our lives aren't all softball. I mean, it's friends, family, school, God. It's everything combined. So especially that togetherness off the field helps a lot with bonding on the field as well.
So on movie night, does Nicole always pick Frozen? Does she? Does she? I follow you guys on Twitter. I've seen Frozen like 20 times already. I know all the songs. You want to sing some for us? Any Frozen songs? Come on. Let it go, let it go. Dun, 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 dun. But team bonding obviously very important, especially when you have the younger girls, right? I mean, because you want to bring them in and include them in that family circle, right?
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the year, we did a lot of team bonding stuff, just to because we had so many new players, both from JV and freshmen. So I think it was really important to get to know them off the field too, because we really had no idea what their personalities were, and we like everyone on the team, and team bonding really helps. So.
All right, we'll start with Randall. Just go right to left. tell me the one thing that's going to be key for you guys for the rest of the season, to finish or go through Big 8 League play strong, get to the playoffs, and end up in Irvine once again.
Our heart is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I've learned throughout my 4 years is if you don't have heart, you're not going to win. And if you don't have team chemistry, you're not going to win. So definitely the want to win is the biggest thing, I think. Everyone has that will to win. So.
Good job, Randall.
Like Randall said, the heart to win, and I think also us to believe that we can actually do it. Like the younger ones, they actually believe they can win it this year again.
Yeah, like Amanda and Randall said, the heart and to believe. Like I like to give every girl the confidence. Like I want them to know that they're really good, or else they wouldn't be on varsity. And yeah.
I think keeping the bats hot, that's for sure going to be a big thing. And like they said, I mean, the heart, not one girl in the team shows up that day not 100% ready to win the game. So, I mean, basically everything that they just said.
How do you swing the bat with those huge rings on your fingers, though? All right, Rachel.
The same contribution with the sticks and the heart, like they said. Everyone just needs to be there all the time.
Got to have heart. You heard it here first, Santiago softball team. Hey, Kyle, let's go back to you and Coach Perez and just ask. Hey, they open Big 8 League play against Roosevelt next week. They got a big doubleheader with Redlands coming up on Monday, and then we'll see if we see you guys back in Irvine. And is it technically June? Is the championship game in? It's in May, May 30th, or did they? Okay. All right.
Yeah, Coach, obviously you guys are used to success. As you guys get into the meat of league play here, what is it you want to see from your team that'll let you know they're prepared for another big run?
Just their ability to go out there and perform and battle every single pitch, every single out till the very end, and leave everything on the field. And just, you know what, then you're done. Then you walk away from it. Because someone's going to be successful, someone's not going to be successful. That's a fact, and our kids understand that.
Now, obviously, a lot's been made of your rivalry with Norco, but who else in the Big 8 do you think is a legitimate threat to maybe make some noise this year?
Every team in that league, we're not going to take anybody lightly. They're all good. So I have mutual respect for every one of those teams in that league. I don't single any team out. We take one game at a time, and we put all our energy into that one game, and that's it.
And I think that speaks volumes. You guys are certainly battle tested, right? Coming out of league play, you've seen a lot of good teams as you head into the playoffs.
Yeah, we have. I mean, we played a good Chino Hills team. We played Poly. We played numerous teams. West Ranch is a very good team. I mean, we played some good ball clubs out there, but I've got experienced kids. I got a lot of kids that've been with me for a while, and they understand what we need to do to get to the end. They understand that. So. I feel good about everything, and this has been probably the biggest challenge I've ever had since I've been at that school. And I've been the only coach they've ever had, and I opened the program when we opened the school, and because of that pitcher leaving, and everybody thought we were going to be washed up, and so far we've done pretty well.
Does EPJ have you #1 in the rankings? I don't know. I haven't looked at him lately.
I don't know.
I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him for you.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I don't stay tuned on that stuff. I just worry about Redlands right now. So that's all. I don't pay attention to that. It's where you finish at the end that counts. All the other stuff is just trivial.
All right, Coach Perez, you're the best.
Hey, thank you very much.
We appreciate you coming down.
Hey,
thank you, Coach.
Guys very much, and you guys are always welcome, and enjoy that.
How do I look?
You
Do I look good?
Sharp, and don't forget it.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing the girls down. Thank you, ladies. You were excellent.
Hi, so I made it just in time for the end of the interview. Gotta love traffic.
We were talking about that nasty 91.
There were
the mess that it is.
two big stops along the way, and it's nice and hot out there too. So you're sitting baking in the car. It was
wonderful.
It was quite an adventure getting here, but I made it.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more softball real quick before we get on to baseball in Temecula Valley. I know you've been chatting it up on the side with the great Kyle Plantier and Nick Jewell. I thought we had one other
I
girl
noticed
ran
that.
for the camera like last week. So
That's good to be back, by the way.
Jewell, like the singer. Just like that, right?
Yeah,
He's like, man, why'd you say that?
Yeah, it's good to be back. I missed last week too, so I was missed last week.
Right.
I'm
You were gone
late
last
now.
week.
Got to get back in the swing. Got to grind it out.
That's right. So once again, we are live at Adrenaline Athletic Training in Corona. And it's always busy, but it's really busy tonight. I think there's a couple softball teams, there's basketball going on, and just some training in general. So a lot going on in the background. If you see a little kid running in front of the camera, now you know why. So Pauline Arlington had a big softball game yesterday, and Riverside Poly's off to a great start. In fact, I believe they played Santiago in a championship game of one of the tournaments they just went to, and Santiago won. I think Poly was like 1 out away from winning, and Santiago came back with a dramatic finish to beat the Bears. But they took on league rival Arlington on Tuesday, and we've got some of those highlights. So check them out, Bears and Lions from Tuesday. But first, let's start on the softball diamond. Arlington and Poly, CIF champion water polo superstar Jackie Bywater on the softball team as well. Who knew? The Bears sending Janine Petmecki to the circle, all 0-0 with their first strikeout of the game in the first inning. And oops, she did it again. Another K for Petmecki in the opening frame. She racked up 7 strikeouts against the Lions. Second inning, the Bears' Chelsea Johnson doubles to right field, and she gets it cracking for Riverside Poly. But Johnson wasn't on the base long because Lions second baseman Bailey Walsh with the great double play. Later in the second, Lori Brown at the dish, and Brown rips the base hit, but she was left stranded. Now to the third, Haley Finn at the plate. All right, so that was Riverside Poly with a big 4-0 victory against Arlington on Tuesday. And we've got the Temecula Valley guys here. But first, before we get to baseball, a couple softball players like to do the Vine thing. You know who I'm talking about already? Yeah. Okay, so we got a soundbite from them coming up. A couple of the Temecula Valley softball players, I went up to them at a tournament at Talkwitz, Kyle, and I said, oh, we have 2 Kyles now, Kyle Glaser, the big ticket over here. And I said, tell me something about yourself that most people don't know. It would be a surprise to learn. And Julia Cavasso said, well, we're kind of Vine famous. And I said, well, what do you mean Vine famous? And she said, oh, Vine? I'm like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, we do a lot of those, and we've got thousands of followers. So I caught up with them, her and Annabelle Burris, and they have a third friend, Jennifer, right? Yeah. That do the Vine. So let's hear from them real quick before we move on to baseball.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, those 3. 1,000 followers. Actually, over 1,000. Almost 2,000. I swear.
So
I swear.
when did you start this?
This year, I think. This summer. Yeah. Instant sensation.
I guess so. Did you have any idea that you guys would be
No. No, we just decided, we want to try to be funny. And it ended up working. So, yeah.
So how would you describe what you guys do? I mean, she said it was kind of like normal everyday stuff? Or?
Yeah. We just come up with things that maybe people can relate to and then make it funny, and then people get it and then they like it. That's about it.
What's your Vine handle, or how can we find you?
What's the name?
Yeah.
Oh, those 3. O-H.
Oh, those 3.
Oh, those 3. Oh, those. All spelled out.
Gotcha. Some people know this at our school, but me and our other senior Annabelle are Vine famous. It's an app, so.
It's an app?
Yeah, it's like an app. Vine is like a video app, and so me, Annabelle, and our other friend make videos on it, and we're famous from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like thousands of views? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people come up to us at the gym and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, are you that girl from Vine?" And we're like, "Yeah." So I guess that would be it.
What kind of videos are they? I mean,
it's just us doing stupid stuff, just stuff that we think is funny, but I guess other people think it's funny too.
Just random everyday
Yeah.
stuff? I mean, give me an
Well, we'll be so one of our first vines was us singing, but making our own music, making a beat and stuff, and that's pretty much. It's just random stuff like that. No, they're really funny. They're really funny.
And she said people know them, right? I mean.
No, definitely. They were at the mall, and I saw a Vine of them. People Vine them, knowing who they were. It was crazy.
All right, so there were the ladies talking about being Vine famous down in the Temecula area, and they actually made a little 6-second Vine for HS Game Time. Let me pull that up real quick. And
watching ourselves on High School Game Time. Interviewed by Fernandez. Legs in the bio of your back. Watching ourselves on High School Game Time. Interviewed by Fernandez. Legs in the bio of your back.
So they seem pretty ridiculous. I mean, fun, but kind of crazy. But thank you to Annabelle Burris and Julia Cavazos for hooking us up with a Vine. But now we move on to baseball, and we've got Nick Jewell and Kyle Plantier from the Golden Bears, and we are all excited to have you guys on after winning the Boris Classic. I know Kyle was very excited as well. And then you guys lost to Great Oak yesterday. We were talking off camera. What exactly happened against Great Oak on Tuesday?
The pitching fell apart, which it hasn't done in a year and a half. So defense wasn't there. It was hot. Didn't have much energy. Bats were there, but couldn't pull through yesterday.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it's a tough loss, but 2 one-run losses to Great Oak. That's it. It seems, the Southwestern League's so deep and so good. It feels to me like you can't really get too down about it. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. It's still early. It's a bummer, only 2 losses to Great Oak, but in the big scheme of things, 2 losses really doesn't define a whole season. And like how Nobianski speaks about to us is, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that's all we're really looking for.
So you're also, the quarterback. It's got to be kind of a nice change of pace, knowing one game can't make or break a season like it can in football.
Yeah, especially you play. I mean, I think if we make it to the CIF final, we play 31 games, and football you play 10. So there's just a lot of more opportunity to get yourself back with a baseball season.
Hey Nick, what does it say about the Southwestern League that you guys met Vista Marietta in the finals of the very prestigious Boris Classic, all those good teams, yet, Vista's, they were 0-3 heading into Tuesday in league play. I mean, every single team in the Southwestern League is really good. It's a battle every single Tuesday, Thursday, right?
Right, yeah, I think it just shows how deep our league is. And I mean, even the bottom of the league, like right now Mesa's at the bottom or Vista, they're playing good games, and Vista's top of the Boris Classic with us. So I think we're just a really competitive league, and everyone plays well.
Yeah, now going to the Boris Classic obviously it was a huge honor. What was your guys' reaction when you found out you guys got invited? Because this was your first year getting invited.
When we got invited, we kind of expected it after our season last year, and we took it as kind of a slap in the face of not being invited the previous year when Vista, Marietta, and Great Oak did, and they didn't do so well, and then we ended up having our great season. So it's kind of a this is why we should be here. And for us to get invited this year, it was really cool, and we felt that we belonged. That's about it. I mean, there's not much we can say about being invited of one of the top 16 teams in the entire West Coast, Southern California. So it is a really big deal for us.
Now, the big thing that I noticed was you guys had that opportunity to play Cypress, get some revenge, but then you also got to beat Mater Dei, a perennial power, and then beat Vista in the finals. I mean, 3 games, pretty easy to get up for. Which of those 3 do you think meant most to you guys?
Cypress obviously was big because CIF final last year and us not playing well and losing. Mater Dei was big because me and Nick, sophomore year, we played them in the, I want to say, second round of CIF, and we lost 6-5, and we should have beat them, and they were the number 2 team in the state, 7th team in the country. So it was honestly, that game was one of the bigger games for myself because we've lost them twice, and it's kind of a little revenge to beat them and go on to the final.
So it was a redemption tour.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing for you, Nick. I mean,
well, both of those games were big games, and even the Valencia game, we almost got into a little scrap in the Palm Springs tournament with. But I think the biggest game was the Vista game. It was a championship game, and everyone knows there's no love lost between us teams, so we like beating them.
Excited to see him again. I think you play him next Thursday or something.
Yeah, next week we got him twice.
So the other thing is, it's hard enough to win this tournament when you're at full strength. Brandon Cook, your guys' ace, Division I, #1 guy, was injured throughout the tournament. So you guys were throwing Burke Mitchell, and a bunch of guys really making their first significant appearance. Were you guys a little nervous going in knowing, okay, we're not going to have Brandon?
Not really, not at all. I mean, our pitching staff is strong. You saw Burke win the Cypress games. Devin Castro came in, started the Valencia game, made it close, but he still pulled it off. And then Isaiah with the Vista game, I mean, that's probably the biggest one of his career so far. I mean, there's not much you can say about our pitchers other than that they want the ball, and if they get the ball, they're going to go out there and compete.
Yeah, Nick, I mean, you had Isaiah making his first career start during the Boris Classic and only second in the title game, and Devin's a young guy. What did you do as the catcher to kind of massage them through it?
I just remind them it's just baseball. You've been doing it your whole life, and don't, big Boris Classic, they're all nervous, especially Isaiah in the championship game. I just try to remind them it's just baseball, keep the ball down, hit my glove.
Yeah, seasoned pro over here.
Well, yeah, hey, all good catchers are really psychiatrists, right, Nick? I mean, that's what it's got to be.
All right, let's check out some video. You guys probably want to see it, I don't know, from Dodger Stadium last year. I mean, just the experience, right? I mean, playing in that huge stadium in a championship game. Is that motivation? Is it like a chip on your shoulder? Hey, we were so good and we went so far last year, but there's just a little bit left undone. I mean, how do you guys feel coming back this year?
Well, actually, I was hurt for that game. I broke my thumb, but for everyone, me being on the sidelines too, it's like a bitter taste in your mouth. You want to get back there and win it. And beating Cypress in the Boards Classic helped, but yeah, it motivates us when we think about that.
I mean, going into that Cypress game in the tournament, were you like, man, I remember those guys. We want this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We were heated about it. Ready to go.
And, Kyle, not just the fact you guys lost, but the way you lost. I think it was 3 errors, a couple pass balls. I think Brandon only gave up 2 hits and took the loss. I mean, so how much of it is a redemption, not just winning the game, but playing better and playing clean baseball?
It just shows how much we've improved. I mean, it's in the end, that game was just baseball. No matter the situation, Dodger Stadium, our field, it just shows that we learned from it and got better and decided to take it to Cypress when we got the second chance, and we did.
Who's ready for a game? I'm not talking about a baseball game either. So, Kyle Plantier's uncle is Phil Plantier, hitting coach for the San Diego Padres, right? So we're going to play a game called What's the Deal with Uncle Phil? So who knows Uncle Phil the best, okay? Because Kyle's a San Diego guy pretty much most of his life. Obviously, we know your connection. And Nick, you're an Angel or Giants fan, I'm sorry, but Temecula, that's close to San Diego, so you're a baseball fan. All right, so don't look at my numbers over here. We're going to have 5 questions. You have to keep track of the questions you answer correctly. So, first one is...
We'll pass the mic back and forth.
I'll hold the mic for Nick over here.
Okay.
So, career high in home runs in one season. What do you think his career high, Uncle Phil's career high in home runs in one season? Nick, we'll go with you.
I think it was 34.
I want to say 34.
Jeez. I'm going to go lower. I'm going to go 22.
It was 34. Did you guys see my notes?
No. Okay. It's actually on the wall in my garage.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was a gimme. So you're down, Kyle, 1-0 already.
Not surprised.
Okay? It's like a game of horse. Career high in RBI in one season.
150.
150? That's a heck of a year.
I want to say like 103.
I was going to say 102.
It was 100. So should we give it to you? You were the closest.
All right.
All right, we're all tied at 1.
All right.
So you're batting 1 for 2, all of you right now. Okay. How about career home runs? How many did he have in his career, Uncle Phil? You, Kyle. Nick always has to go first. You go first.
Gosh.
Career home runs.
I mean, I know a lot of his career was more as a part-time guy, so he didn't sound like he got 600 ABs a year, all 10 or so years.
There's Uncle Phil.
I'll go 170.
170?
I want to say 88.
I'll go 160.
91. So you
okay.
were very close.
Okay, so I guess a lot of those other years he really did. It was really that 34 year.
He had a huge year. Let's see. 93, 34 home runs, 100 RBI.
Okay. I do want to point out that Phil Plantier played well before I was old enough to consciously be aware of him.
Oh, come on.
I was like 3, so.
Come on.
Tim Salmon, I can give you all you want. Phil Plantier, it's a little before my time.
Remember his stance?
No, I don't.
Phil, you don't remember Uncle Phil's stance?
I told you, I never.
Like all down here.
I didn't get a chance to watch him.
Very unorthodox.
Pep, I'm closer in age to these guys than I am to you.
Hey, but still, these guys are beating you right now. Okay.
It's true.
How many teams did he play for? Uncle Phil. We'll go with you, Nick. How many teams did
Like
Uncle Phil play
Kyle's
for?
got to know this.
I want to say 6.
Kyle?
8.
Gosh. I know Red Sox and Padres for sure. I'll go 4.
He actually played, it's kind of a trick question, for 5 different teams.
Okay.
He was with San Diego 3 different times.
Okay.
So, and how many years was Uncle Phil in the big leagues? Kyle, let's go with you first.
I think it was 11.
It's actually, I think it's 8.
I think it's 9.
It's 8.
Okay.
So I think Kyle won, right?
Plantier, I think.
So, I know, he
Yeah,
should, right?
he should.
Well, he got the first one right off the bat because it was up in his garage, he said, so. So there's Uncle Phil. And
If you had lost, do you think Phil would have called you up and been like, what the heck, man, come on?
Probably not.
So does he give you pointers at all? Does he give you tips or?
When I see him, he's got a big cage at his house in Poway. It's a big warehouse. It's actually more like that Cajun there. But we talk hitting, but it's not really much of like pointers. It's more thinking. I worked with him a couple of times, but it's because I don't see him a lot. It's more my dad that works with me hitting. So my dad is really more my hitting coach than my uncle.
Your dad played in college, is that correct?
Yeah, he played in college. I want to say 5 different schools. Ended at USIU, which is Alliant now. And then he played minor league ball for a little bit, and then I think he got released and then had to quit it.
So, I mean, baseball's really in your blood. Was that something that, from birth almost, you were, taught to be a baseball player?
18 months, I think I swung my first bat. So my dad would actually lay on the couch, and we'd have like a little wiffle ball, and I'd just hit it and get it, and then give it back to him, and hit it and get it again. So that's kind of how it all started.
What about you, Nick? How old were you at your first swing?
I think I was like 2 first swing, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, having, obviously you don't have an uncle like, Phil Plantier, right. But, I mean, baseball is one of those things that kind of grabs you. I mean, at what age did you realize, okay, it's just something, because, I mean, you're going, Metro State, a solid Division II program. At what age did you realize, okay, this is something I want to do and hopefully want to make a career out of?
Probably like T-ball, like I think that's, 5 or something like that. I was playing a lot of other sports. I did some basketball, a little boxing, karate thing, and I knew I liked baseball more than anything around 5, and worked hard at it, paid off.
You guys have a lot of guys going Division I. I believe 5 guys D1, another D2, possibly some more. Do you guys talk a lot about how excited you are for college, or you guys just focused on the season right now?
Actually, during batting practice is more like while we're shagging is like the talk about college. I mean, we have Brandon Cook, AJ Sawyer, Jared Morton going to UCR, Drew Seelman going to Bakersfield. I'm going to Santa Barbara. Nick's going to Metro. I mean, we talk about who you don't want to live with, what you're going to eat, all that stuff that college involves. And what's really funny is the UCR guys and me, we're all going to play each other again for the next 4 years in college. And so, like, when the scores come out of games, or like who's got the better record, I've been giving Brandon and AJ a little bit of heck for how good Santa Barbara's doing. But I mean, they play, I want to say, April 26th in Santa Barbara, so that'll be a good one.
Definitely.
Hey, speaking of food, you got my curiosity going. So you guys have a big game. It's late at night. You're starving. What's the best pregame meal? You just gorge yourself. It's like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm eating this right now.
Some ribs.
Ribs?
Barbecue, anything.
Probably my mom. My mom makes like a homemade like lasagna thing. It's pretty legit. I mean, it's.
Miss Plantier can cook, yeah.
When I come home from college, that's definitely what I'm gonna be eating.
All right, well, we really appreciate you guys coming up here to Corona and joining us here on the Blitz. Best of luck the rest of the way in the Southwestern League and, of course, in the CIF playoffs.
So, thanks so much,
Thank
guys.
you guys.
Appreciate it.
Nick, you're the man. Sorry, I pointed out your last name was Jewel, like the singer, but that's all right.
All right.
Still like you anyways.
All right, you guys are free to go.
Thank you.
No
All right,
problem.
thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Nick. You guys are studs.
I'll scoot on over into the middle here.
I'm going to pencil them in the CIF finals. You guys got that? All right. Division II championship game.
It's funny you mentioned that. I mean, there's a lot of expectations on Temecula Valley this year. Coming into the year, they were considered the favorite to not only make it to the finals but win. But with baseball, and especially the way the Southern Section playoffs are organized where it's a single elimination, it's so difficult. You run into one good pitcher and boom, you're done. But you know what? Temecula Valley, they've got the talent everywhere you want. They've got a deep pitching staff. They've got a good lineup 1 through 9. And they've proven they can win in the playoffs. This isn't a team that consistently gets there and peters out early. I think there's a lot going in favor of the Golden Bears, and even though Great Oak has beaten them twice, just based on the pedigree of success in the postseason that TV has, which Great Oak does not have in recent years, I think you still have to maybe give the nod to Temecula Valley as that team that, come playoff time, you really, really don't want to have to face.
Yeah, they were saying before the show started, something about Great Oak playing at home just kind of gives them problems. But I think, as you mentioned, those Southwestern schools, they're all good on any given day. You better watch out, especially if you're on the road playing at some other team like Great Oak on their home field.
I mean, 10-2 in the Boris Classic. That's an insane statistic. I mean, the Trinity League is in there. You have great teams all around from multiple sections. For any league to go 10-2 in that tournament is, like I said, mind-boggling. And the fact that the Southwestern League did it was a statement that you almost can't really put words on. It really was just an incredible display of dominance. A lot of those wins, not all of them, but a lot of those wins came by fairly comfortable margins. You know, Vista Murrieta didn't squeak by Jay Serra. They beat him good. You know, TV didn't squeak by Mater Dei. They were leading the whole way and won 4-1. I mean, 3-run victory over Mater Dei on their home field. That's a comfortable margin. I mean, the Southwestern League really went out and showed that right now they're not just the best league in the Inland Empire, which no one doubted. They might be the best league in southern, or at least in the southern section. It's really that good and that deep.
Temecula Valley 12-2 so far on the year, 3-1 in league play. Of course, that loss to Great Oak on Tuesday, and they've got Murrieta Valley tomorrow. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Southwestern League shapes up here down the stretch. Now, over in the Inland Valley League, kind of maybe a similar situation. A lot of teams still in contention. We saw Pauley and Arlington going head-to-head on Tuesday. Let's check out those highlights as the Bears gutted out a win on the road against the Lions.
Now to a little bit of baseball. Riverside Pauley jumped out to a 2-zip lead on Arlington on a 2-run homer from Drew Traylor. I heard the home run. I saw the ball sail over the left field fence, but unfortunately I was at the softball diamond when it happened. Didn't get it on video. Fourth inning, Lions down 2-zip. Dino Suarez, the sac fly to right. Jacob Johnson scores. Arlington makes it a 2-1 ball game. In the fifth, Luke Navigado doubles home Andrew Navigado as Pauley led 3-1. Later in the fifth, Arlington hurler Boone Elkins, the K, to get out of the fifth. Top of the seventh, Luke Navigado strikes again, singles to left to plate Jake Mercadafi. 4-1 Pauley in front. Bottom of seven, the Lions with runners on first and second, tying run at the plate. Arlington down to its final out. Pauley's Andrew Navigado fields the grounder at short, flips to Luke Navigado for the force out at second, and that's it. Riverside Pauley remains on top of the Inland Valley League with a 4-1 victory. North beat Canyon Springs 10-7 on Tuesday, so the Huskies and Bears currently share first place.
So Riverside Pauley and JW North right now undefeated atop the IVL. Your thoughts on the Inland Valley League so far, Kyle?
You know, Pauley's the defending champion, but there were a lot of questions. They lost really all their big guys from last year that got them to the quarterfinals. Tristan Mercadel, Nathan Finn, Cash Matson. They had 5 first-team all-league guys. Every single one of them graduated.
Cody Palmer, right?
Cody Palmer,
Yeah.
the reigning league MVP. So no one really knew what to expect from Pauley. And this year, they're 9-7, which, you know, that record doesn't blow you away. But they don't have a single bad loss. They've played some good teams and played them tough. They've won all the games they're supposed to, and they beat a very good Mission Viejo team that's looking like one of the better teams in Orange County. Pauley's not flashy, you know, but they have guys like Tanner Roa and Lucas Navigado who just get the job done. You know, they might not do things that make your jaw drop, but they do all the little things right. And at the end of the day, that's what wins out a lot of games. The Inland Valley is going to be fun to watch down the stretch. I think even with that loss, Arlington is still a contender. You know, Pauley and North are right there. I think it's really going to be those 3 teams battling out to the last day of the season. Similar to the Southwestern League in that, you know, it's not quite the same caliber, but 3 or 4 teams right there at the top going to fight it out, and you can almost flip a coin as to who the winner is going to be because all of them are capable.
Okay, similar to the Southwestern League and the Inland Valley, list a couple more leagues that, you know, could be a real dogfight down the stretch. Maybe the CBL, Big 8.
The CBL, that I think is the most confusing league, you know, with Redlands East Valley, Redlands, Ukaipa, and Cajon all in the mix. Good luck figuring that one out. All these teams are very good. All of them have a certain flaw you can point to, and they're all kind of beating each other up right now. We'll see how that one goes. You move over into the Sun Belt League. You also have, you know, Elsinore is off to a rough start, but they've got the pitching to compete. Temescal Canyon and Paloma Valley. All 3 of those teams are very good, different strengths. I think those are the 4 leagues that, honestly, I'd be surprised if any of them are decided before the last week of the regular season.
All right, let's go back to the Big 8. Talk Corona for a second. It was just 2 seasons ago, that Corona made a Cinderella run all the way to the CIF championship game at Dodger Stadium. They just snuck into the playoffs, put together a couple wins, and, you know, sure enough, they were in the finals. They lost to Newberry Park. I believe it was like 2-1. And I caught up with Coach Andy Wise and just asked him, you know, does this year's team, who's off to a pretty good start, they've been playing better of late, is there any similarities between that team from 2012?
You know, we knew we could get a lot better, and we had some tough games early, and now we're starting to put forth that effort and feel it a little bit and understand what we can and can't do. And we have 2 good guys on the mound, and we're pretty deep in the bullpen as well. But having those 2 guys does remind me a little bit of 2012 with Pena and Duarte running through that playoffs right there. I feel we have a chance if we can get there. We got a goal ahead of ourselves, though, and that's the Big 8. You know, we're trying to get through that first before we even think of that. So for sure.
You know, I see a lot of similarities. I mean, just the defense is always there. You know, we have a real deep pitching staff, and I mean, we're having a lot of success. So, you know, it should be fun to see what happens.
There's a lot of confidence us after the tournament. We just played on winning that. There's a lot of confidence. Our pitchers look great. They feel great. Hitters just doing our job, just doing everything we can, keep the momentum going, and we're going to be good this year.
So look out for the Panthers. They've got some talent. They got a big 1-2 punch pitching. Have you seen both of the pitchers, or at least
I've seen Beck and Kaneen both, and yeah, I mean, you talk about needing two good pitchers. You know, in Division One, almost every team that gets the postseason has two good pitchers. A lot of times, two pitchers going Division One, maybe even a couple draftable guys. So Corona is going to match up with them. I don't want to say that Corona is going to exceed the talent of all the other teams they'll see pitching-wise, but they'll at least match up with them, with Beck and Kaneen. Then you have Yanez as a great number 3 option as well. It's going to be interesting to see if the Panthers can replicate that type of success. Every couple of years, you do see a 2 or 3 seed kind of get hot and sneak in, normally on the strength of pitching and, you know, some timely hitting, some good small ball, a lot of 3-2 wins.
That could be Corona again.
They did a couple years ago, and they definitely have, I guess you could say, that formula down, and the way their team kind of lines up, you could see it happening.
All right, so the Big 8 will be interesting. What about some leagues that, how do we say this, might not be as interesting, but it might be kind of fun to watch a team, you know, go perfect through league play?
So you've got Talkwitz over in the Mountain Pass League. They're undefeated so far. They've had a couple of close calls, a 3-2 win over Citrus Hill the other day, but by and large, Talkwitz probably should go undefeated. The rest of the Mountain Pass League is not quite at the same level they are. It's very tough to go undefeated in league, but it would be no surprise if Talkwitz did. Kaiser and Citrus Valley both went undefeated in their leagues last year. There's really no excuse for them not to go undefeated again this year. They just play in leagues with teams who just are nowhere near the level they are. So at the end of the day, I think those two teams are a very safe bet to go undefeated. And Woodcrest Christian out in the Ambassador League. You know, last year, the Royals actually tied for the league championship. They didn't win an outright, which doesn't happen very often. I think the pitching has made them even better this year, and I think the Royals have a very good chance. I don't think the Big 8 will see an undefeated champion, but I'm going to be curious to see what Norco can do. Norco, I think, is the best team in that league. We've seen that they've beaten everyone. It's hard to say about 15-0 in that league because all the teams are so good, but I do think Norco's has a bit of separation between them and the rest of the league, and it wouldn't be out of the question.
Well, let me, before we move out of baseball, I think I saw in your baseball notebook that San Gorgonio had that streak, right? But they lost, didn't they?
They lost to Carter, and that's the one team they can't seem to beat. You know, Carter with Jesse Gonzalez, who, for my money, is the best player in the area no one's heard about. He's a UCR commit, and Bobby Applegate and UCR, bravo getting this kid before anyone else knew who he was. You know, this is a guy who can swing it with the best of him, pitch with the best of him. He took them out yesterday, and you know, got a guy throwing 88 to 90 with a off speed anywhere from 75 to 82. Yeah, there's a reason they were able to shut out San Gorgonio and win 5-0. I mean, they have a guy like that in Division III. It's a difference maker.
All right, once again, we are live at Adrenaline Athletic Training, and Kyle, call me old-fashioned, but it's just not a Blitz show until we talk a little bit of football. And we knew quarterback Blake Barnett from Santiago already committed to the Fighting Irish. Well, a couple local guys could be joining him in South Bend. Maybe they've been offered now. Malik Lovett and also Akili Ross, a good friend of the program. I mean, Notre Dame coming to the IE and just scooping up a lot of our guys, or trying to at least.
That would be a heck of a lot of speed if you have Lovett and Ross out in the open field.
And Barnett getting them the ball, right?
Yeah, and Barnett can run too. I mean,
that's right.
That'd be kind of fun to watch Barnett scramble with Lovett and Ross blocking downfield. Just a lot of speed.
Can we pencil our trip to South Bend in already? We need to go for work, of course.
So, we'll see. Obviously, it's still very early in the recruiting process. Akili Ross is up to 14 offers now, most of any player in the inland area, which is really an incredible accomplishment when you consider he had 0, a couple months ago. Right now, he's got even more than Blake Barnett does. And then you have Mason Walter, the lineman at Chaparral. Notre Dame isn't on him yet, but he's going up the board, so why not? It could be interesting to see, but, we've seen Arizona State have success with IE guys. Duke had some success with IE guys. I mean, Notre Dame, they've been down a little bit. They've gotten by on their reputation some in terms of their rankings, beating up on the service academies, if you will. At the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see if Notre Dame can create this pipeline to the inland area and eventually start getting the best of the best, because when Notre Dame comes calling, they're going to listen.
Yeah, Barnett's got the verbal commitment, and it's nice to be wanted, and I think there's something to be said that there's a couple programs where it's just special to at least have that offer, saying, you know what, Notre Dame gave me an offer. They wanted me. So even if Akili Ross and Malik Levitt, decide to go elsewhere, which is a very good possibility, but still to say I was offered by Notre Dame, even maybe they're not, challenging for a national championship every single year, but it's still Notre Dame.
Obviously right now the SEC is dominated. Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Florida State, but still programs like USC, Texas, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. Those are programs that if you get an offer from them, you're going to cherish that. And as good as, Oregon has been in recent years, and there's always, a couple upstart programs, there's something about those core programs, just the history, the tradition, just can't match. And getting an offer from those places truly is special.
All right, so we will definitely keep you posted on those three guys and, what happens with Notre Dame. And, of course, I think you typed it up, right? A blog or a story about there's a lot of guys in our area already getting attention.
Yeah, I just put up today, actually, updated it, and there's really, the list is, approaching 2-3 dozen guys, and some of those guys are already up to double-digit offers. We've talked about guys like Shriver Jones, but I mentioned guys like, Mason Walters, someone not really on a lot of people's radar. He's got the second most offers now, big offensive lineman at Chaparral. Colin Baker, Vista Marietta, just committed to San Jose State, so we have our first commit outside Blake Barnett. And we're going to see more and more guys, including some guys that maybe we haven't heard of before, but have gotten bigger and stronger, and they're showing well in camps, and that'll translate into the season.
And I've heard Chaparral could have the best line in the area. We'll see, and they're going to need it against Vista.
If the college commitment list is any indication, Chaparral would be the favorite to win the Southwestern League right now. I mean, they're the group.
Malik Lawal. Vinny Fazio has nightmares about that guy. There's a lot of good players.
The cornerback, Darian Moulton, excuse me.
Moulton, yeah.
You've got him. There's a lot of talent down there, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates, because a lot of Division I talent doesn't always translate into wins in any sport, just because you have to mesh, there's chemistry, there's personalities, there's styles of play, but when in doubt, it's good to have more talent than the guys you're facing, and Chaparral's going to have more talent than the guys they're facing most of their games this season.
All right, we got to thank you for joining us here on the Blitz. We've been live at Adrenaline Athletic Training in Corona. Kyle, we're glad you made it. That 91 is a real monster out there, but every Wednesday we are live at 5:30. Of course, we got to thank Kyle Plantier and Nick Jewell making their way up from Temecula to talk about the Golden Bears baseball team. And, of course, John Perez, and he seemed like half the team with him to come in and
I walked in and was like, wow. And notice they were all matching. I was like, wow, they really, were ready for this.
Hey, dressed for success. They were all matching. They even had sandals that all match. I asked them, team sandals? They're like, I guess.
Hey, something to be said for uniformity. See what I did there?
Yeah, I see.
Uniformity?
Uniformity, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to Santiago, thanks to Temecula Valley, and, of course, our gracious host here at Adrenaline Athletic Training. I'm Fernandez. That's the Big Ticket, Kyle Glaser, and we will see you again right here live at 5:30 for the HS Game Time Live Blitz.